Right now on Fox 35 News at 10, a school board chairman downplaying teenagers allegedly drinking and taking drugs at a principal's home.
This isn't anything new. When we have thousands of employees, things happen.
Parents in Cocoa Beach now outraged as one teen faces charges of DUI.
A controversial proposal for a historic landmark. A Florida lawmaker wants a new face on Mount Rushmore.
One community refuses to go up in smoke. The new move to cut out smoking in public places.
A Sunshine State sweep. New images show law enforcement cracking down on undocumented immigrants here in Florida.
The handcuffs are off and they're acting.
The raids are already happening in Tallahassee and Miami, and Central Florida could be next. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm John Brown. The crackdown on illegal immigrants with a criminal history is all a part of President Trump's immigration policy. And Fox 35's Hannah McKenzie spoke with Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood today. So, Hannah, he says he's already making changes to protocol.
He did, John, and he tells me those changes are already working to create a stronger partnership between the Volusia County Sheriff's Office and the feds. Now, one of the things the sheriff really wanted me to get across tonight is if you are a victim or a witness to a crime and you're here in the country illegally, you are protected under Florida state law. You will not be deported as long as you qualify for that protection. And some of the qualifications include actually helping investigators look into that crime. Live in Seminole County, Hannah McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
Got a news alert right now. A federal judge just blocked the president's attempt to freeze all federal grant money, calling it unconstitutional.
It comes after a chaotic day of questions about if benefits like food stamps, Medicaid, and Social Security would be impacted. Fox 35's Marlisa Goldsmith has been following the story all day long. She's joining us live right now in the Alert Center with the very latest. Marlisa.
Well, Luann and John, the U.S. District Judge blocked the funding freeze only minutes before it was scheduled to take effect, leaving the door open for a bigger clash over taxpayer money. White House officials say the decision to halt loans and grants was necessary to ensure that spending complies with President Donald Trump's recent blitz of executive orders. The Republican president wants to increase fossil fuel production, remove protections for transgender people, and end diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. But a vaguely worded memo combined with incomplete answers from the White House throughout the day left just about everyone scrambling to figure out which programs would be affected.
They are clarifying it, and I think this is not unusual for an administration to pause funding and to take a hard look.
These are real people, ordinary Americans struggling to afford groceries, rent, and health care.
The White House now confirms programs that provide direct assistance to Americans like Medicare, Social Security, student loans, and food stamps will not be impacted. Now, that's good news for Americans because even temporary interruptions in funding could cause layoffs or delays in public services. Live in the Alert Center tonight, Marlisa Goldsmith, Fox 35 News.
Thanks, Marlisa. Well, we now know which Republican candidates will be on the ballot to replace former Congressman Matt Gaetz and Mike Waltz. Jimmy Petronis won the special primary up in the Panhandle, and Randy Fine won his primary in the region around Flagler, Marion, and Volusia counties. Both of them, by the way, were endorsed by President Trump. Petronis will now face the Democrat Gay Valimont in the 1st District. Fine will compete against Democrat Josh Weil in District 6th. Both seats are expected to remain Republican, although Democrats are still pushing for an upset. The special election is coming up on April the 1st.
Taking a look at our wake-up weather now, some of us are going to see some fog when we head out the door in the morning. And I'm here in the Fox 35 Storm Center tonight with meteorologist Noah Berggren. So, in some places it could be a little slow going in the morning.
Especially west of I-4. Okay. So if you're along the I-75 corridor, if you're traveling through Marion County in the morning, I would expect there to be some fog. If you're on the I-95 corridor, probably not much. And you can see that here pretty clearly with our Fox model showing the visibility. It'll get pretty foggy. The Tampa area, the Villages, Ocala is about 8 o'clock in the morning. Some of that dense fog will try to push to the theme parks in Orlando, but once it gets to about the city, it'll fall apart. So west of the city in the morning tomorrow, there'll be some dense fog at times. 50 tomorrow morning in the city, 51 Thursday, 59 Friday morning, 63 Saturday morning, 60 Sunday morning. Temperatures tomorrow similar to today, lower to middle 70s with mostly sunny skies after that morning fog. We'll talk to you much more about even warmer air for the end of the week in a few minutes.
Thank you, Noah. New tonight, New Smyrna Beach just banned smoking and vaping in public parks and on the beaches.
Yeah, commissioners voted to ban it during their meeting this evening. Fox 35's Kelsey Cairns is joining us live tonight. Kelsey, good evening. This new ordinance is a welcome decision for some people.
That's exactly right. Good evening to you, John and Luann. Yes, during public comment tonight, no one took to the stand addressing any, opposition to this measure by New Smyrna Beach City Council. And they acted on really what they promised tonight by addressing this agenda item. Now, I spoke to the mayor earlier this evening after that meeting. In a statement sent to Fox 35 News, he said, "Our mission is to maintain and or improve the quality of life for our residents. I certainly trust that the reasonableness of this ordinance, fills that bill for all users of our parks." That was right from Mayor Fred Cleveland of New Smyrna Beach. Now, there's really no word yet when New Smyrna Beach will start enforcing this, or if there's any sort of penalty that is linked to if you're caught on any of those public parks, or beaches, and you're smoking or vaping. Of course, we're going to monitor that from New Smyrna. Reporting live tonight for Fox 35 News, I'm Kelsey Cairns.
Hey, Kelsey, all new at 10. A deadline was just set here in Florida for stores to remove nicotine products from store shelves that are designed to attract kids. Many of those products, by the way, are e-cigarettes. The Florida Attorney General launched the Nicotine Dispensing Device Directory today. Retailers have 60 days to remove items from their shelves once they're added to that directory. And if the stores violate the law, they face a fine of up to $1,000 a day per device.
A man accused of murdering a 13-year-old girl will stand trial. A judge ruled today that Jerry Dorsmay is competent. And tonight we're hearing some of the evidence that could be used in that trial. While being interviewed by detectives, Dorsmay sat silently when he was asked why he was at Rose de Juice apartment building back on July 4th. Investigators tell him they can connect him to that teen's death through video evidence at the complex. They say they also have video of him buying the murder weapon.
And we have video of you buying this knife. Okay? That's you in line buying the knife. That's a knife right there in your hand. There's no question that you were there. You understand that, right? It's 100% proof that you were involved in this incident.
The state plans to seek the death penalty in this case. Dorsmay is scheduled to be back in court in April.
The Orange County Elections Office still trying to get their budget back in check. This comes after allegations that the previous supervisor of elections misappropriated millions of taxpayer dollars. The new supervisor of elections updated the community at that commission meeting today. Karen Castor-Dental says that Valencia College has agreed to return $2 million that the previous supervisor gave to the school for a scholarship program under his name. She says that money will go towards payroll issues that she just uncovered. The agency is expecting the funds to be returned in the next couple of weeks. Well, Fox 35 News at 10 is just getting started.
Coming up, a Florida representative proposes adding a new face to Mount Rushmore. We hear from an expert who explains why adding President Trump's face won't be an easy task.
Plus, a big announcement about pro baseball. It's taking place tomorrow. The Orlando Dreamers are alive and well, and they're adding a big name to finally get a team here in Orlando.
And parents outraged tonight after a local school board member downplays a teen party involving arrests and a DUI. That party landed a principal and a teacher behind bars. Should President Donald Trump's face be etched into Mount Rushmore? Well, one Florida lawmaker thinks so.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is pushing new legislation to get the president added to the lineup. And Fox 35's Marlisa Goldsmith joins us now with details on this one. Marlisa.
Well, John and Luann, the Florida representative is gaining national attention after introducing this piece of legislation today. She says the president's accomplishments and his success make him more than deserving of being added to the national monument. Well, obviously, we're in the early stages here, but there have also been discussion of alternatives, like maybe renaming Dulles Airport in Northern Virginia after the president instead of adding his face to a monument like Mount Rushmore. Live in the studio tonight, Marlisa Goldsmith, Fox 35 News.
All right, we are tracking the next big thing, and Central Florida is warming back up. Temperatures going to be into the mid-80s by this Friday. And meteorologist Noah Bergeron joins us right now.
Noah, Florida is finally starting to feel like Florida once again.
Yeah, Lou, and speaking on that warm and fiery theme, we've had some outstanding sunsets. I mean, it's been awesome the last couple of nights, and that's going to continue. I mean, this is the time of year in Florida we do get awesome sunsets. It's because meteorologically you've got very fine, thin, wispy cirrus clouds that zip on by in the high atmosphere. And last night we had an awesome sunset. Tonight, another awesome sunset. This was from our iDrive camera, and I would suspect tomorrow and again Thursday. Awesome sunset. So if you're a photographer, you just want to get a great sunset view, you can plan ahead. We can forecast sunsets, not all the time, but this is a week where every night with these high, thin clouds just pushing on by with they're essentially ice crystals will cause great sunsets. We've also had a few reports last night and today, both the Tampa area and here, of sundogs, little halos and little rainbows around the sun at sunset. All right, there's the view tonight. Things are calm and quiet. High today, 77 in Melbourne, 75 Buffalo, 73 in Orlando. Warm spot in the state today was Miami, got to 80, 78 Sebring, 72 in Tampa, by the way. The Gulf waters off the coast of Tampa are very cool. On Friday of this week, when I show you this map, it'll be very wild. Orlando, I think, would be 84, 85. Tampa at 4 o'clock in the afternoon might be 68, 70, 72, because there'll be a sea breeze off the Gulf, which is cooled dramatically after that Arctic front and air mass we had last week. All right, temperatures right now are in the 50s with the exception of Gainesville, currently sitting at 48. Across the southeast, things are nice and quiet. That's how they will stay going forward. Some lake effect snow in New England and the northeast, but that's about it. So some clouds streaming in from Texas to Florida over the next several days. You can see that on the different mode of the satellite here from Mexico, Texas into Florida. And those high thin cirrus clouds will be with us for the next few days. So tomorrow at the theme parks, fog before 9 to 10, then otherwise sunny. Temperatures again rising into the 70s. Look at the map. 40s, even at this hour of the night past St. Louis. In fact, there's really not a lot of cold right now. The cold has retreated back up into Canada and the Arctic. All right, so tomorrow, watch out for that fog early, not everywhere, just in a few spots. Thursday, lots of sunshine as well. Big weather to our west tomorrow night into Thursday. That front you see right there comes into Florida on Saturday. Maybe a cloudy start here, 7 in the morning. Notice it's pretty gray. There'll be a little thin line of showers that zips on through during the morning. I'm optimistic by the afternoon. It's clearing and it's dry, but it's not even a big rain chance, just about 30% Saturday morning. But 84 on Friday, how about that? Last week, remember the high at one point was 48 in Orlando. 78 Sunday, great for the Pro Bowl. We'll talk to you much more about the long range forecast and that warm up on Friday in about 25 minutes.
All right, just ahead, fewer guns found at TSA checkpoints in Florida last year, but the number's still shockingly high.
Yeah, find out where OIA landed on that list.
And a big announcement from Major League Baseball in Orlando. The dream continues as the Orlando Dreamers set to make that announcement tomorrow.
When the sun goes down, that's when this town lights up. Central Florida is full of energy. Your news should be too. I'm Marlisa Goldsmith. Join me late nights at 11 for the late news that won't put you to sleep.
Fox 35 Late News at 11, weeknights. Fox 35 News is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
New tonight, a big name in baseball is joining the fight to bring Major League Baseball here to Orlando. Hall of Famer and former Cincinnati Reds All-Star Barry Larkin will be announced tomorrow as an ambassador for the Orlando Dreamers. Of course, the Dreamers were co-founded by the late Orlando Magic founder Pat Williams and by his financial advisor Jim Schnorf. I spoke with Jim about an hour ago, and he confirmed that they will announce Larkin as a part of the leadership team tomorrow afternoon. So I asked if they were looking for an expansion team in 2027 or if the continuing issues between the Tampa Bay Rays and Pinellas County were a factor in this renewed effort to get a team right now. He tells me that they're just looking for the right opportunity that would help them fulfill their dream of having a team in the massive 35-acre baseball complex they have designed in Orange County. News conference is now scheduled for 2:30 tomorrow at Second Baptist. It's in the Pat Williams room there at the church. You can get the latest details on Fox Local tomorrow.
TSA agents are finding fewer guns and carry-ons at Florida airports. That total number last year was 817. That's down from 834 in 2023. OIA also saw a dip in numbers from 164 to 150, but Orlando still has the highest number of guns found than any other airport in the state. TSA says to prepare, pack, and declare.
Really, the number one thing that passengers can do to be ready is if you, especially if you're a firearm owner, know where your firearm is when you're packing. Make sure it's not in a bag. Make sure that you're using a separate bag if you have one for the range, and then just do a quick double check in the next day right before you head to the airport to know where your firearm is.
TSA says most of the discoveries are due to passengers not checking their luggage. To prevent penalties, firearms must be in your checked luggage in a hard-sided case, locked and unloaded.
All right, coming up in our next half hour, parents are upset as a local school board member discusses a massive party at a principal's house. Police say kids were drinking, doing drugs, and playing with a gun, but the school board chair says he thinks this is being blown out of proportion.
And a vicious attack over the weekend sends 2 people to the hospital, but investigators say they may soon have a warrant for one of the suspects' arrests.
Absolute mayhem, says the Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood. He's describing an attack that happened over the weekend in De Leon Springs.
Fox 35's Kelsey Cairns joins us live tonight. So, Kelsey, the sheriff is now searching for the people involved.
That's exactly right, John and Luann. Actually, Sheriff Mike Chitwood explained to Fox 35 earlier this morning that he can confirm his office was able to secure 1 warrant for those suspects involved in this fight. And you just mentioned it was absolute mayhem. And yeah, that's how the sheriff described this fight. It has over 1 million views, this video that's been circulating on social media. Now, if you have any information about that fight that could lead to an arrest, give the sheriff's office a call, and you can always remain anonymous. Reporting live for Fox 35 News tonight, I'm Kelsey Cairns.
Thanks, Kelsey. Also new at 10:30, a Brevard School Board School Board chair is now downplaying a teenage party that left at least 1 teen sick and another behind bars accused of driving under the influence.
Now parents are even more upset after hearing those comments. Fox 35's Chancellor Wynn is live in Cocoa Beach tonight. So, Chancellor, what are parents saying about that statement?
Well, I can tell you some parents are stating that we're really focused on their children and what they would not want their children doing. But I can tell you that Brevard Public Schools Board Chair Gene Trent, he says he is not trying to pass judgment at all. Instead, he's simply waiting for the legal process to play out. But not everyone around town agrees with that approach. Now, as you guys mentioned, that police say a teen was found vomiting and shaking in the front yard. And as paramedics were helping that teen, officers say Hill Brodigan went inside her home and turned the lights off. And around that time, Anderson, the teacher, began yelling at paramedics for putting the teen into a patrol vehicle. And I also want to point out that we have reached out to every member of the Brevard Public Schools Board. And I actually spoke to the superintendent right here, but he tells me he cannot comment on personnel matters. Reporting live in Brevard County, Chancellor Wynn, Fox 35 News.
Chancellor, thank you. All new tonight, an alleged drug dealer is behind bars tonight. Elvin Davis was arrested at the Volusia Mall. Deputies say he's a Jamaican national who's here in the U.S. on a work visa. Investigators busted him in the mall parking lot with several kilos of cocaine. They also tied him to a home that was trafficking cocaine, fentanyl, meth, and oxycodone. Detectives are now working to revoke his legal status after he faces criminal charges. He's being held in jail without bond.
Well, the city of Melbourne is shutting down their soup kitchen. The mayor says the Daily Bread can't offer the homeless community stable housing services. So the city wants to replace it with a new housing program. It just passed the first reading at tonight's city meeting. Also, the vice mayor wants to see a secure campsite developed away from homes and businesses. He says the city already owns land west of I-95, and it could go somewhere near Ellis Road off the interstate. He is adhering to the state's new homeless law, which mandates that cities create zones with resources like security, restrooms, and substance abuse standards.
So we'd have to create a park facility in that style, but that wouldn't be for the housing. That would be solely just for the purposes of showering, toilet, things of that nature.
The vice mayor is also proposing declaring homelessness a state of emergency in order to get state and federal resources faster. New at 10:30, senators are considering President Trump's argument that the U.S. needs to regain control of the Panama Canal.
Lawmakers actually held a hearing today on that issue. Fox 35's Griff Jenkins has the details. And the president says he still wants to acquire Greenland, and now Denmark's prime minister is taking him seriously. Today, the Danish prime minister started a diplomatic blitz across Europe. She met with officials and with the NATO secretary. President Trump is keeping the pressure on, he told reporters. He is more determined than ever to get Greenland, saying it would be very unfriendly if Denmark did not allow it to happen. It puts Denmark in a really complicated position, especially if Trump uses tariffs or sanctions to try and force the sale.
It's not going to happen. It is impossible. But at the same time, the United States is the most important ally for Denmark, is our most important economic partner.
Today, the European Union said it is not open to negotiations about Greenland and that it will support Denmark.
Also, a developing story tonight. Google says that it will change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America on Google Maps for American users. It will also change the name of Denali in Alaska to Mount McKinley. This comes after President Trump signed executive orders renaming those sites. Google says it has a long-standing policy to apply name changes when they are updated in official American sources.
Coming up next year on Fox 35 News at 10, the NFL Pro Bowl games return to Orlando. How you can see some of the league's biggest stars this week and get an up-close look at all the action.
And if you're looking for last-minute tickets to the Super Bowl, you better have a little extra cash on hand, or a lot of extra cash. The average price for a seat and the best seats in the house coming up. But first of all, the Fox 35 Pump Patrol, we found $3.07 a gallon. That's at the Wawa on Cypress Parkway in Kissimmee. And you're watching Fox 35 News at 10. We have a look at that big warm-up on the way straight ahead.
When the sun goes down, that's when this town lights up. Central Florida is full of energy. Your news should be too. I'm Marlisa Goldsmith. Join me late nights at 11 for the late news that won't put you to sleep.
Fox 35 Late News at 11, weeknights. Nightlights is sponsored by Ocean Bank, taking business further.
Well, the Pro Bowl festivities kick off this week in Orlando.
Should be fun. Some of the league's biggest stars will compete in the multi-day competition. And Fox 35's Jessica Ely tells us what fans can expect this year. Well, we were on the edge of our seats tonight as the UCF men's basketball team took on Kansas. The Kansas Jayhawks are ranked 11th right now, and it was a close match with UCF leading 43-41 at the half. But the Jayhawks pulled away in the final seconds of the game to win it all. Final score 91-87, but it was a good showing by our Knights.
Much better than, a month ago, right? That's for sure. Hey, if you're wanting that last-minute ticket to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to pay up. We checked the ticket sites and found that the average price for this year's game in New Orleans is about $5,600 per ticket. It's actually down, though, a little bit from last year's game in Vegas. Most expensive ticket right now, though, we checked, $75,000. That one's right behind the Chiefs sideline on the 50-yard line. And Fox 35 is your Super Bowl headquarters, and you can watch us for free once again this year and watch the game, right? That's $75,000 cheaper. You can watch the game and the halftime show right here on Sunday, February 9th. Kickoff set for 6:30. We have coverage all day long, and then we finish the night with Fox 35 News after the game. Then we got
so
the
we
Daytona
get to
500.
See you.
Yeah, right.
No charge after the game.
Man, that's
wants to see.
Right,
yeah. Then
that's worth $75,000 right
then
there.
you can't get a refund either. It's worth every penny.
I want my money back. back.
It's fine.
Well, check out this gorgeous sunset tonight over Daytona Beach. Temperatures will be great this week if you want to stick your toes in the sand. We are warming back up into the 80s on Friday. And Noah is back with us now.
We'll be here too for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, it's not just John.
I'm just saying, this is the time of year, we've talked about this. You got Pro Bowl, then you got Daytona 500 the week after the Super Bowl, spring training, Arnold Palmer Invitational. I mean, this is the place to be.
I'm looking forward to all those things.
Oh, be at them all up.
I couldn't go to that golf tournament last year, but I'm going to try to go.
We'll go this year.
Oh, yeah.
We're playing.
Yeah, very good weather for that this year, hopefully.
Wishful thinking.
I'm going to play one hole, Luann. John and I are going to play the first hole, then just spectate the rest of the way. Temperatures, we're feeling a lot better today. I mean, we are going in the right direction. Last week, we've talked about it extensively. We're just really crummy. And in fact, this week, so much better. And it's going to feel, even in some spots, like early summer once we get to Friday of this coming week. All right, so the temperatures right now, there we go. Grab the wrong remote. There we go. 58 in Sanford, 51 in Ocala, 63 currently in Orlando. Temperatures tomorrow morning out the door, 48 New Smyrna, 50 Orlando, Clearmont, 45 in Ocala, 51 in Kissimmee. Radar right now is quiet. Not expecting rain through Friday. Now, we do have drought that is developing. Now, the drought monitor gets updated once per week on Thursday from the Weather Service. So every Thursday, I'll try to show it to you now more going forward. We're still a ways away from there being a legitimate fire and brush fire risk here. But this will be something you're going to hear, I think, a lot of us mention in the weeks and months to come, just given us being in La Nina. La Nina in hurricane season means a lot of hurricanes. It's bad for hurricane season. La Nina in winter in spring means very dry, very, very, very dry in Florida. Now, it's interesting to note, I was just looking this up, the rain departure since Hurricane Milton, I know that seems like a while ago, which was in early October, Orlando since Milton. And remember, north of the track of Milton in Volusia County, we had all those water rescues. I mean, there was a foot and a half of rain, remember? Even with that, since we're running about 4 inches of rain below average in Orlando, about 4 in Daytona, nearly 5 below in Ocala. Mind you, Daytona Beach had 15 inches of rain in just Milton alone. So since Hurricane Milton, there really has been not a lot of rain in Central Florida, and that's something to note as we go deeper into winter, then eventually early spring. This Saturday, by the way, along the Sanford Riverwalk, Severe Weather Awareness Week, myself and the Fox 35 Storm team will be there. Come meet us, and you can see the Thunder Truck from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you've never seen the Thunder Truck in person, it's awesome, and just got back from its first snow venture last week. That was TJ up in the Panhandle. All right, so here's what you need to know going forward. Friday, I think it's really warm. I think 84, 85 is in play. Saturday, a good deal of clouds, not a ton of rain, though, just a few light showers. In February for Florida, very warm, very dry, so different than January in terms of the temperature for sure. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Watch out for some fog early in the morning. Thursday, mostly sunny. The reason why Friday is warm is because A, the wind comes from the south. B, ahead of a front, anytime you see a cold front on a weather map, the day before often gets really warm relative to average. And then Saturday, we'll have some clouds with a shower. Friday, the models are bouncing back and forth, but I think will be a little bit more than the models think. I'd say probably about 83 to 84. It wouldn't even shock me if somewhere hit 85 degrees on Friday afternoon away from the coastline. It's a little bit cooler at the beaches. 76 Saturday with some clouds to be a morning shower. Great for the Pro Bowl on Sunday, but then still sticking with great weather heading into next week.
Looks good, Noah. Thank you. Coming up next at 10, the world's largest veterinary conference is in Orlando right now. See how some local students got some hands-on training.
And Groundhog Day is approaching, so PETA is renewing calls to replace Punxsutawney Phil, the latest proposal that would look more like a gender reveal than a shadow show. Before we head to break, you're taking a live look over downtown Orlando. Beautiful night, and you're watching Fox 35 News at 10 on this Tuesday night.
Fox Local is Fox 35. Anywhere, everywhere you are.
Coming up tonight, sky-high achievements,
Live news and more. Fox Local is built for you. On your phone, on your TV, as local as you are. Fox Local is Fox 35.
The world's largest veterinary conference is happening in Orlando.
Yeah, it's called VMX 2025. This thing is massive. Kevin Costner was here this year to speak, right? That's how big it is. Well, today, 71 middle and high school students from underserved communities in Central Florida took part in the full day of training. They performed CPR, suturing, and even drawing blood on practice models. They also learned about exotic animals and nutrition. The goal of this opportunity is to offer mentorship and then address the lack of diversity in the veterinary field.
The veterinary profession is 90% white. What we tend to do here is try and diversify that by having students of color engaged along the way from youth up through high school, and then of course, like I said, into college and the profession.
Students say, or officials say, students from Puerto Rico and even the West Coast all flew to Orlando to be a part of this hands-on program. Also trending tonight, Groundhog Day is almost here, and PETA making a push once again to replace Punxsutawney Phil. The group does this each and every year for Phil, Phyllis, and Phil Jr. This time they have a unique proposal. They want Phil to be replaced by a weather reveal cake. It would mimic a baby's gender reveal cake. Once cut, you see either blue, meaning 6 more weeks of winter, or pink for an early spring. Last year, by the way, Phil predicted an early spring.
Just don't do the fireworks and start, trees
right?
on fire. So
yeah,
just
that's
don't
true.
Do that.
Or you just say, live in Florida. Spring's already here.
Already here.
We like this.
Summer's right around the corner.
Late news at 11 is coming up next.
And Marlisa's already here to kick things off. Hey, Marlisa.
Hey there, guys. I'm here. First, he said he wanted to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Now he's taking aim at Alaska. President Donald Trump has a list of names that need freshening up. Meet me at 11 to see if your favorite spot might be getting a new title.
Wake up with Brooks and Jessica weekday mornings on Good Day Orlando.